Here's your weather video for this Sunday, the 6th of November. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray. And if you ever go around saying we wish there could be more hours in the day, today is the day that you'll get your wish. Of course, it's not, these reminders are not as important as they were several years ago. Most devices now are smart and automatically fall back. But if you have any manual clocks around, and most of us do, you need to set those back or you could get thrown off in your scheduling for your Sunday. I have a friend who purchased an alarm clock at a garage sale a few weeks ago, and they were surprised a couple of weeks ago when the time changed on Saturday night because obviously that device had been programmed for the previous time. I don't remember when we changed it, but at some point at the time coming back off daylight saving time shifted and made that clock obsolete. Of course, Friday night was a terrible night. We've been talking about it for a week. Weather Service SPC spot on with their forecast, and there was tremendous damage. Parts of southeastern Oklahoma, certainly down into northeast Texas. The Weather Service in Fort Worth has confirmed that there was a high end EF3 in Lamar County. That's near and west of Paris. And the tornado that struck Athens was an EF2. I have not heard on Idabel yet, and I think that one's going to be interesting. No severe weather threat for the next 6 days. This is the Storm Prediction Center outlook overview over the next several days. This is going to be Sunday right here. Still got some just thunderstorms. This is a thunderstorm outlook along the East Coast. Some storms are possible still along this boundary. We're going to talk about this boundary because it's got a big play in what happens to our weather. More of the same as the trough gets its act together and gets a little more active on Monday. But beyond that, no discernible days that we could have severe weather. And I don't think this next system will be that either. Stopping by the tropics. We got rid of Martin on Thursday. We got rid of Lisa yesterday, but things are not done yet. This system right here has the chance to become a short-lived depression or tropical storm later today. And the Hurricane Center and most of the models now are on board for thinking this is going to become our next tropical storm. And we'll talk about that extensively. This first system, which could become Nicole, we'll move on out to sea very quickly, will not be of any sort of significance for the United States or really for anywhere. 2 meter dew points show that things in the air mass over Alabama, did really change. Dew points dropped a little bit with the initial surge going through, but the main cold fronts held up back to the west. Look at that, a 48-degree dew point in Memphis. They broke a record yesterday for their most rainfall on November 5th. But the front is not going to make it much further. It's kind of hold here, and you say why? Well, that's because the upper trough that was driving the system just sort of gave up the ghost. The bowling ball trough that we saw on Friday afternoon in New Mexico moved on to the northeast, and already we've got big high pressure building back into the eastern United States, and that's going to really become pronounced as we get into the first part of the week. And that influences what happens with this system. This is our disturbed area of weather over the southwestern Atlantic. Tropical storm is going to form somewhere in here, subtropical or tropical storm is going to form here, and it's going to be forced back to the west because of this big upper high. Now, we got a lot of widespread showers yesterday. Some wind associated with the back end of it. What I think was a gravity wave on the back end of that heavy rainfall area. When you see that clear cutoff like that, sometimes you kind of get tipped off that there might be some gusty winds, but they didn't fortunately exceed 20-25 miles an hour in most locations. And so we got through Saturday with just a good bit of clouds and a little bit of rain. It did get a nice sunset in a few areas, but clouds have thickened back up overnight. Temperatures dropping only to around 60, 61 degrees uh, early for your Sunday morning. Some patchy fog around the area. Those clouds are going to be hard to blow out of here, and I think we'll see a few showers during the day. This is HRRR early Sunday morning. And as we go on through the day, those showers thin out. You see they're still back there, though, Mississippi, Tennessee. That's along that front. But I think Sunday will feature slow clearing with a few scattered light showers at times. High temperatures will rise into the 70s, maybe 75 to 77 degrees on average. Um, Tomorrow night, little patchy fog again, perhaps a little more clearing, and again, overnight lows in the upper 50s to near 60. Not much different than what we're experiencing here. As we go to Monday, that front is still hanging out, and the GFS has become sort of bullish on the fact that this system might still be producing showers on Monday, and that means I'd have to go back and change forecast because the forecast for Monday was for better weather. Matter of fact, really perfect weather: 77, partly cloudy skies, low humidities, low winds, just kind of a great all around day. But now that is the fly in the ointment in the forecast. Now I'll check that early tomorrow. Look out here. We've got our tropical depression or tropical storm east of the Bahamas, but beginning to get ready to be influenced by the high pressure to the north. Tuesday morning lows are going to be, upper 50s. That's, not too bad. We'll be heading for the middle and upper 70s again for highs. But the GFS again has introduced the fact that that boundary might be getting pushed to the south because of this big high pressure. So that would mean maybe a few more showers, a few more clouds, a little cooler temperatures for Tuesday. Again, we'll just have to watch and see. Our system is out here at that point. Wednesday, here we go. The system is coming around. It's out there. We seem to have cleared out, maybe. Either the front is south of us or it's washed out. High pressure is in control. Temperatures in the 70s here. Um, Certainly a little bit cooler, probably, which would make me think that front has made it through. If you see the national blend of models in a moment, you'll see what I'm talking about and why. And the high pressure is large and in charge on Wednesday, um, and that system, then is approaching the Bahamas and perhaps heading towards South Florida. So, is this going to be a bad storm? Well, the GFS overnight run, had it in at about 80, 85 miles an hour. That's not insubstantial. And that is not out of the realm of possibilities. Water temperatures are still very warm in the lower middle 80s in this area. Very little wind shear over the next few days, and we know that's the ingredients that hurricanes like. So this could be heading toward Palm Beach, Sebastian's areas in southern Florida. There's an indication of what it might look like at noon on Thursday. Um, as it's making landfall under that scenario. Of course, that's just one deterministic output, but certainly a plausible one. I note that the European has been carrying it into the Gulf of Mexico. Um, Probably again would get steered to the northeast by this next system, but and the euro is much weaker. This GFS run may be an outlier, although recent runs have been pushing it either into Florida or curving it back along the Atlantic coast. Perhaps never even making landfall. That's a scenario that could happen too. These are those winds off the GFS, though, showing pretty impressive. Not only would there be strong winds near the center under this scenario, strong winds are going to spread along the coast, especially northeast Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. You can see some tropical storm force winds probably there. If the hurricane does, actually make it into Florida, it could be here in southeast Georgia, maybe into northeast Florida. It could be a little offshore. We'll kind of watch that. You can see the coastal waters having tropical storm conditions. This is Friday, seeing that depiction. Most of the rain, though, stays well. East Alabama, no chance we'll get it in here. It doesn't look like, and then by Saturday, it's moving on out. and things are changing in a big way. Front now has unfettered access to the southeast. We get the drier and cooler air moving into here either late Thursday or early Friday, depending on that front, and things will be cooling off. We'll probably stay in the 70s through Friday, but I think Friday night lows are going to be in the 30s, and certainly Saturday night lows may be near freezing. So we could deal with a frost situation with some scattered freezing conditions in North Alabama Saturday morning, and Sunday morning a widespread freeze is possible as we finally start to see some autumn weather. This is Sunday, showing Alabama high and dry. Still see disturbed weather over the Western Caribbean. That'll be important for monitoring. Of course, the next storm that's named is going to be Nicole. Then comes Owen. That could be this Bahamas system, and then maybe the hurricane season can squeeze out Paula before it's all over with. Moving forward in week 2 to the 17th, sort of voodoo territory. A good storm system gives Alabama a fairly decent soaking. We could need that. We could use that. That's not a tremendous rainmaker, but we might see an inch or so of rain out of that. And going all the way out to the end of the period. Hey, Paula. That might be Paula right there in the Western Caribbean, but it looks like it would be a Central America storm. We look dry and cool here in the Southeast. The National Blend of Models bears out those temperature thoughts. Um, might be a little high there on Monday and Tuesday, depending on the front. We thought we were going to see 80, but it might be upper 70s. And if we get a good bit of clouds and rain, it could be middle 70s. Certainly back into the lower 70s for the end of the week behind that secondary front. But temperatures at night are still quite comfortable. And then it looks like an extended period of some cooler weather. 50s from Saturday on into that second week. Several nights were in the 30s. And that's not too far off from where we should be this time of year anyway. Weather Brains will be recorded tomorrow night, Monday night. The Tuesday night show was a lot of fun this week. Get a chance to go back and listen to it. I think everybody had a really good time, and that's always exciting. This week we'll talk to Paul Iniguez from the National Weather Service in Phoenix, who is behind a really cool new heat index that's important. That is a really important reason, and we're going to have a couple of surprise visitors. So both of those will be very interesting, including one has very unique and remarkable experience from Hurricane Ian. Weather Brings the weekly netcast that's all about weather. This is the weather video that's all about weather. We do it 7 days a week, twice a day on weekdays, and just once a day on weekends. Scott and I have it easy. He'll be back next Saturday. James will be here 2 days all week. I'll see you next Sunday. And until I get that opportunity, as I always tell you, keep an eye to the sky because you'll always have something fun to look at.